thing I'm going to do now is take some just straight mixed epoxy and my toothbrush and go around and start doing edges. We got a fresh edge here that needs to be treated on when we cut out the opening for the dagger board trunk here. And all these seams along in here need to be treated too. Just take your time and don't get too much epoxy out. Try to get as much into the crack as possible. And then I've taken one of my 3-inch rollers and cut it in half, so I got about 1.5 inches to roll out any runs. And carefully you don't not dripping over everything. Keep your cut close by. You're also trying to fill in these wire holes too, and anywhere around the little spots where the bolt holes came through that are full of easy filling right now. And we'll come back after this cures and then fill up the holes with some fairing compound. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way so the cup doesn't burn up in my hand. We'll then you want to remember is to come along fairly close. That first batch I made was 1.5 ounces of A and B, and it was starting to get warm in my hands. If it had been really hot out, I would have gone to a much smaller mix. So come along and sing a song, Joe and Van will be in my... Get all the runs out of the way. Get a nice, smooth, even coat. One thing you want to do, too, is go around and check sight down along all the lines to see whether or not there's any little look like drips or thick spots or whatever. I had one in the bow here where I come across with my brush and squeezed out more than I thought it had. Get it now before you have to scrape it off with a cabinet scraper or sand it down. I had one spot up here where I had a piece of the plywood was sticking up. I caught my finger on it, so I put some epoxy under it and taped it down. So the epoxy we put on cured last night. But when I came out and was running my fingers along the edge, it was kind of roughed up like normally when you would work with fine hardwoods. You would wet it down so that the the little fuzz on the wood would stand up, and then you would sand it again very fine sandpaper to get that fuzz down. That is what the epoxy had done to that, so I came by and sanded it. Remember, when you're doing along the edges, keep 80–90% of the sander, I'll think of it here in a second, on the flat panel that you're working on, that edge of, and when you come down to the other side, do the same thing. Just watch yourself that you're not running over like this on the seam, which then will screw it all up. So now I got it all smoothed down, and I'll mix up some filler material now, and we'll get into that. I'm going to try something new. Systems Re's got something they wanted me to try for using on the filling compounds and as a substitute for their slow fare, which only comes in the great big 1.5 gallon kits. And you can see it's brown and a kind of like a turquoise color. But this is a 1-to-1 mix, so I had to make up a new container, which I need to mark so that I have 1-to-1 on it, and don't get it confused with, say, one of the other ones, which is 2-to-1. So let me go ahead and mix this up, and then we'll start applying it on the boat. Same thing, is just put it in and tap it down until you get an even line, and then put in the next one, and then stir it for 1.5 minutes. So, and then they say on the can or on the containers here, don't make up any more than you can use in 15 minutes. So I'm assuming this has a fairly slow set time, which is what I'm looking for when we're doing this. Is you don't want something. If you want something set quick, then get System 3's Quick Fare, which sets up really quick, but not that quick, but pretty quick. Okay, I got my bag mixed up, and I've been putting it in a little bit just to see how it goes. It seems to be working fine. It was made for wood window you know, rotten spots and cracks in windows and sills and things, so it seems to be working fine. Get it along. Don't let it pile up too much. The less you have to sand, the better it is. You got a big hole there. Just try to be going for the bigger part of the crack and the little wire holes. You can see them showing up along the ear. Take the excess along with you. And you put the glass on a little that and the epoxy to fill out the weave of the tape will take care of most of the holes. And you got a little bit of a gap where the edge of the scarf fiberglass was. I think I've got a little spot up here that could probably use it. Yeah. A little depression. Well, I've got it. I've finished filling in all the little holes. It took me 2 bags of 2 ounces each, and I have to say I'm kind of impressed with the stuff. It's called Sculpt Wood paste, and by System 3, and it works just the same as the Slow Fair or the Quick Fair. The Quick Fair is a little bit too quick at this weather. I would have been making very small batches because it just kicks too quick. The Slow Fair I like, but you can only get, like I said before, you can only get it in 1.5 gallon containers. And then this stuff you can get in small ones, and it seems to work just perfect. And I had plenty of times I could feel the little bag getting warm in my hands, but it never got so stiff that I couldn't work it. If I would have dawdled a little more while I was doing it, it may have. So your first time around when you're using any of these products, mix them small. Go with, keep my hand out of the stuff. Go with small batches, like that was an ounce of each. So go with 1/2 ounce of each, and you'll probably be just right for your first boat. Or the first few seams. You may have to make a few more bags, but it'd be worth it by not having to throw one away because it kicked on you. So I'm quite happy. See how it sands down tomorrow. So till then, later. I almost turned it off. It's cured, it's set up hard, and I've come back with my my rasp to lay along that on the ledge to maintain my edges, and it's feeling pretty good. I still got this side to do. The other side's done and it's coming out fairly well.